lights in the air like a blazing flare. Just stare 'cause the flames will burn us. I thought you were the one for me. That's why I gave you everything. Held you close by the stormy seas. Oh, you meant the world to me. I used to kiss your head when you cried for me. Hold your hand while the pain was over. Keep you warm by the roaring sea. You meant the world to me. Oh, you meant the world to me. Oh, you meant the world to me. My darling dear, you're never here. When I'm in pain, you hide and disappear. Like shadows in the atmosphere, charting the stratosphere. Yeah. I prayed for you and kept you near, in hopes you'd chase away my fears. I'm on my own, you made it so, and now I'm chasing nightmares through. I used to run with you through the great big leaves, laugh at you when you laugh at me. Hope for us because I believe the home was just you and me. I thought you were the one for me. That's why I gave you everything. Held you close by the stormy seas. Oh, you meant the world to me. Oh, you meant the world to me. Oh, you meant the world to me. Oh, I'm gonna do this on my own. No point in blaming you, you did not know. Oh, I thought you were the one for me. That's why I gave you everything. Held you close by the stormy seas. Oh, you meant the world to me. Oh, you meant the world to me. Oh, you meant the world to me. Oh, I'm gonna do this on my own. No point in blaming you, you did not know. Oh, I'm gonna do this on my own. No point in blaming you, you did not know. I thought you were the one for me. That's why I gave you everything. Held you close by the stormy seas. Oh, you meant the world to me.
So cliche, I see the sparks you throw my way. I know your name is written on everyone's mind. Your whole show is captivating me, but don't think that I can see right through that disguise. But when you got close to me, you had me falling so hard, baby, hard, baby. Yeah, now I get it. You got heads turning, heads turning.
very smart positioning in the green box from Nike, as he will be able to cut off potentially 2 members of Valiant, as he is on an absolute spree.
This dude is getting away with murder.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this another preseason matchup tonight here for the K7 League. Tonight I am joined by Kamika or Kyle. You'll hear me refer to him as both. Kyle, man, how are you doing tonight? I believe that you're muted.
Are very correct about that. I was muted because I was doing something and, Anyways, so I'm doing pretty good tonight, Trevor. I'm ready for a solid matchup, potentially, although I don't know. I haven't seen Indiana Syndicate in the new game, but in Modern Warfare, they were very solid. So good things from both teams, but not necessarily going to be coming into play in this game. But you know what I'm trying to say here. They're a solid team in other games. They can be in this one too.
Yeah, for sure. And then I'm just glad to be here tonight. I mean, this is presented by Rogue Energy. As you guys can see in the top little right-hand corner there, always got to thank our sponsors, as they're the ones that are able to make this happen. We did hear some rumors, though, about some scrims between these two teams, how the only map that Heartbreakers was able to beat Indiana on was Moscow. And if we go ahead and flip over to the maps and modes for tonight, we can see that we have a Moscow sandwich. Kyle, do you want to break this down for me?
A Moscow sandwich. Oh my goodness. That sounds like, I don't even know, a whole lot of like borscht on bread or something like that. But anyways, like you said, we do have triple duty of Moscow, but we are going to be at least starting off with Garrison based on what I'm seeing here. So yeah, like we were talking about in the show where the audience couldn't hear us, there was a very solid map for the Heartbreakers up against Indiana during their scrim. So the fact that they're going to be playing that mode at least 2 times is going to be a good little indicator that they could possibly do some good stuff up in here. It's their best chance, Trevor.
Yeah, and the good thing is that it's not Moscow across the full board, so we do get to get a Garrison here for that first hard point.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've seen this. I've seen this played. I've casted over it. I've just watched it. This will be a pretty good hard point for us to start off on, and a good way for the teams to kind of set the tone of how they're going to play tonight. Because honestly, I mean, Garrison in Moscow, I mean, yeah, they're different maps, but you can see kind of the same things when it comes to playing it. I'm interested to see which team just comes out and starts to slay, because that's really going to play a big part in this first hard point and the control with kind of how they play in this game. So, I mean, and that's really how it goes in any game, isn't it? Like, if you can get the kills, you can kind of bully them off the map. Some of the best rosters in history, that's the reason they were so good, was because they just had the slaying power. So I'm interested to see kind of how it breaks down on this Garrison, which we should be able to see with some pretty good rotations through the first hard point.
Yeah, so there is a little bit of a difference between these two maps. I think that if the reason that Heartbreakers gives Indiana such a hard time on Moscow is that they're just better at rotating than their opponents are, I think that is going to be less of an issue on the first map. So, I mean, assuming that they are equal in hardpoint on Moscow, more or less, I think that they'll probably they being Indiana Syndicate will probably have a better chance on Garrison, because assuming their playstyle is that they can go for the breaks like one at a time and they can't quite get the spawns into their favor, they'll still be fine. Whereas on Moscow, it's kind of a different story.
Yeah, and that's kind of the biggest difference. You talked about how Indiana Syndicate, they were strong in Modern Warfare. And that's one of the big differences, like when you look at Cold War versus Modern Warfare this year. Modern Warfare it was one of those games where you could just run and break. Like you didn't have to worry about rotations, because one guy could essentially break the hard point with just time to kill, how the game played, everything like that. This game is different. You have one less player on the map to kind of coordinate those breaks. And like the rotations really do matter. And like what's cool about the rotations mattering too is that anchor players play a big role in this game too. We didn't see that a lot last year. So maybe that's where Syndicate kind of struggles because they got so used to making those breaks and stuff like that. So we'll get to see it through this Garrison. So I'm actually pretty excited for that.
Yeah. So let's move on over to the rosters up in here for both these teams. Now, if we're taking a look in order, which is going to be Heartbreakers first, I do believe, is going to be
Syndicate.
Syndicate is first. Okay. So we're going to be seeing Gorilla, Mug, Viper City, like our city, but Viper City, I guess.
That's how, I would say Vipersity.
Vipercities. That's quite interesting. But yeah, NS Yenik, Nisenik. I'm bad with names, Trevor. It's notorious.
See, the NS makes me think that it's two different letters, and then the Yenik. So my guy, if you're out there hearing this right now, I'm gonna call you Yenik tonight. I'm sorry.
Or is it supposed to be like some weird way of spelling in sync? Like, you know,
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm obviously making a joke. I don't think that's the proper pronunciation. I'm just having a little bit of fun right now, Trevor.
Yeah, well, we'll say bye to this Indiana Syndicate roster, and we'll head over to look at the Heartbreakers. I'm just kind of tying to your joke here. So looking at the Heartbreakers, we have Octavane with that little captaincy right next to his name, Dior, 04, and Treasy. Treasy was actually my SoundCloud name before I quit my rapping career.
Treasy?
That's not actually true. That is a joke. I cannot.
Well, maybe they were telling you that you should make like a tree and get out of the rapping scene, Trevor.
Yeah, it's something.
And
man.
leave
It
the rapping scene. That was the joke, obviously, a little bit. I made the anti-joke version, but
yeah, I mean, you got to throw some jokes in there, especially we're just waiting for these waiting for these teams to get ready before we head into this first map. But other than that, man, I'm just really excited to kind of get back into it. Obviously, this is preseason again. The official league doesn't start until January 14th, I believe, is the first day of matches. So that's kind of when we're going to be able to see kind of storylines and stuff like that kind of break down for us. Right now, again, just preseason, wanting to get as much content out there for you guys so we can kind of see a preview for these rosters. And I'm really excited too. So we can take a look at kind of the matches that we've had so far this December as we're just kind of showcasing some of our teams and stuff. Kyle, I believe you've casted one of these as well. Which one did you cast?
I got to cast the one that was last week, actually. Swear Society versus God Gaming. And, I mean, Swear Society, they put up a dang good fight for what people thought they were going to. And I'm like, hey, don't count them out just yet. But God Gaming did end up just giving them the quick defeat, I guess you could say. But it wasn't all to the chagrin of Swear Society. They had a good showing there all the same. More so than people would have expected.
Yeah, and I was actually on the Rated White versus the Living Nightmare game a couple weeks ago. And as kind of I expected personally, Rated White did take that game 3-0. I don't know if that's exactly what I predicted, but they were able to take that one. As we got to see a couple more maps than just Moscow, really. But honestly, the game has changed so much since I casted it on December 13th. Just with different patches and like how people are choosing to play the game. I know I was watching some teams play the other night, and I saw so many different guns. Kyle, you would have loved it. I saw the XM4, the FAR, FAR. Yeah, so I saw that along with the Krig. I've seen the Krig kind of dominate, especially just like it, just in and out of different streams and stuff. You don't know what's GA and what's not, what people are choosing to play with the AK and everything like that. So you've really got to see so many different ARs, which I love. I think the sub that's still kind of dominating is the 74U. I see that staying that way for the foreseeable future, unless there's some kind of crazy patch or buff to some attachments. But other than that, yeah, we've seen so many ARs, and I actually really like that.
Yeah, a lot of different ARs coming into play here, Trevor. And something that I've noticed, especially in some of the other games I've cast, is that the Krig has actually kind of more or less fallen out of favor with a lot of teams. And that is why we're seeing the XM4 in here instead. Now, as we are talking about that, we're about to get going in here with Garrison, a map where playing for the break is a little bit more viable than on the other maps. So it's a pretty good opportunity for good old Indiana Syndicate to get this out of the way and get a potential win on the board before they have to go into Moscow, which, like we said, they struggled on.
Yeah, and kind of with the Krig, I think a reason favor with some teams is because a lot of people want to run and gun, and it's honestly not the best gun for that. That's where the XM4 is going to do a little bit more justice. We do get to see these teams break off, as I would kind of expect. Indiana Syndicate is going to go for some high ground here on board with Gorilla. This top tank can be such a powerful position, especially early in the game, because you can just really see the majority of the map here.
And that's a lot of patience from TZ over just making sure that he doesn't lose control over top green at all costs. And in fact, he does catch Gorilla a little bit lacking. And Heartbreakers, they are going to be getting not just a little bit of time, but they've got the positioning for next as well. Now, all Heartbreakers really has to do here is prevent Indiana Syndicate from getting, around 30 points off of the hard point right now, just to make sure that their spawns for next are worth it. They've well and truly done that already, Trevor, so already looking good for Heartbreakers off the rip.
Yeah, and you saw the full team wipe right off the rip for Heartbreakers against the Indiana Syndicate, and that's exactly what you want to see if you're a Heartbreakers fan. So what they're going to do now is they're just going to, they're not soaking up the rest of the time. Indiana Syndicate did manage to get on it here, but this is where we see the kind of important battle for spawns here, because it is a rotation, so that'll be big, and it's going to be, who is that, Indiana Syndicate on it first, which as we expected was kind of how the spawns broke down and stuff. Actually, no, it should have been Heartbreakers. My bad. They held it, and they are here. Indiana Syndicate did have the early pressure, but now we see Heartbreaker set up with this kind of three-person setup. Indiana Syndicate is managing to break in there with Viper City. Said his name weird. I'm going to call him Viper from now on because we're kind of rolling with it. But yeah, Heartbreakers, kind of as we expected off the rip here. They had the spawns. They were going to be set up in this P2. That's why we saw Treasy kind of fight for that top green control early on.
Yeah, you see Heartbreakers, despite having the spawns going into the next one, Indiana Syndicate, they know exactly how to break those spawns, and that is taking advantage of a weak undersection of Heartbreakers. They did not hold down the spawns and lights well enough at all. They killed off a few people and instant flipped the other guys. They didn't realize it in time, and before they knew it, they were completely wiped off the objective, Trevor. Indiana Syndicate, now, I think that based on how they're playing right now, they will probably do a pretty decent job at Moscow, judging by their rotation. So maybe that wasn't the issue for them on Moscow. Maybe it was something that happened a little bit earlier. Now, I don't remember when they said the scrim was, so the circumstances around their loss on Moscow might no longer be available to happen to them.
Yeah, and who knows what they were doing with. Again, you're exactly right. It all depends on kind of when that scrim took place, because that determines what comes for a viable win and things like that. So as we see, as it's standing now, Indiana Syndicate is in this next point. Just soaking up time. This is going to be about an even game as it's been the whole time. Aside from the initial kind of first break from Heartbreakers, we've seen a really back and forth game. Indiana Syndicate just kind of soaking up this time, as it looks like Heartbreakers are choosing not to push as much as they're looking to set up some control. As I said, that they do get the spawns for that point. I don't know if it's necessarily getting the spawns at that point as much as it is forced into those spawns. But they are going to soak up a couple seconds to make this a tie game as the next point's going to pop.
Yeah, the thing is, this next objective is pretty much going to be all about positioning for P5. Indiana Syndicate, they're just going to get as much objective time off this as they can just to goad Heartbreakers into coming into this, saying, hey, we have the spawns, you guys have to focus on the objective. We don't want you guys taking the spawns away from us, so we're going to keep your attention over here. That's exactly what they're doing. This is a very easy objective to contest in theory, but, Heartbreakers, they're getting a little bit hit off the objective from just a lot of different positions. Hence why this objective is so hard to get a lot of time off of, because there's so many different spots to shoot at you from, Trevor.
Yeah, there really are. Like, top green is a huge spot here, obviously, just because it's right there close to the point. And we've seen kind of Indiana Syndicate just kind of control that the whole time. Heartbreakers have managed to get a few seconds off this point, but it's more so, like you said, Indiana Syndicate really kind of shaping up and making sure they have the spawns for P5, which they do. They have full control of it as it's getting ready to pop. This first initial break from Heartbreakers is going to be big, but Yannick can be really big in stopping this from this power position at top green. He jumped down as I said that, but he is going to be here to kind of help his team fend off this break. JK,
Yeah, those were not some good missed shots. I love that skin, by the way. Well, the sticker that he has on the skin, I really adore it. But anyways, Dior and the guys, they have gotten a thorough break on the objective right now, breaking hearts and breaking hard points at the same time. And now they've got some solid positioning for it potentially here as well, but the lack of lights control is going to be leading to their eventual downfall. And with that full wipe, Trevor, I would be very surprised if Heartbreakers were allowed to get too much space or time back onto this objective. This is going to be some money time for Indiana Syndicate. And they still have time to flip these spawns out if they want. And in fact, right now, they don't want them because they have Heartbreakers trapped in them. And they're like, we can eat this time all we want with them trapped in there and flip them out later.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. So now you see Indiana Syndicate are going to be set up for this next hill here. I mean, which is exactly kind of how it played off with the hills being so close. Indiana Syndicate did have the last control of it. So they have almost a 40, almost 50-point lead as they're going to grow with these next couple seconds. Heartbreaker's really nowhere to be found, except we see number 7 there. It looks like he's just putting in work for those spawns and that position for this next for the next hill. He's not going to let anyone kind of take control of that. We saw Tracy do the exact same thing last time to success. That time, not so much. They kind of sniffed it out like, hey, there's a player missing. He's not really trying to break with them. So that's going to be bad for the Heartbreakers if they let Indiana Syndicate kind of creep through top green and get over toward that next hill, because that's really all that's going to happen for these last 20 seconds is really positioning for that next hill.
Yeah, the thing is also, they don't even need to go for next hill. Look at that score difference, Trevor. Indiana Syndicate is like, yeah, we don't have spawns, but we can still get some time off of this. It's not ideal for us to try and get time off this, but it'll at least force Heartbreakers to not hunker down on these spawns if they want to have any chance of making anything out of these next spawns whatsoever. And now they're going to try and do the same thing again here, Trevor. The only one back down there now is Trezzy, and actually Dior is going to be here as well. It's going to catch one coming out of lights, and boom, boom, out goes the lights from him. Octbane going to be coming up oh so huge in the meantime. They're giving a lot better attention to this bottom area potential flip out. But, I mean, Indiana Syndicate pivoting well as well and just coming from multiple different directions this time.
Yeah, and then kind of we saw the same thing about halfway through that hard point there. We've seen Indiana Syndicate successfully break it. They just kind of buoyed their way through and kind of just secured the point like that. If you look at the slaying numbers briefly right now, Indiana Syndicate's definitely leading those. And that's kind of what it takes. I mean, yeah, sure, another team can rotate, they can have the rotations, but oh my God, Gorilla, if you're going to slay them like that, there's no reason. I mean, you don't have to worry about the rotation if you're just going to kill them off the entire map. So Heartbreakers, again, kind of hunkering up, setting up for that next hard point, but there's already pressure from Syndicate there. Treasy's out on an island. He may have a chance for a pinch for a flank, but if he doesn't do much with that life, I mean, that's bad news for the Heartbreakers.
What they really need is Dior to keep him nice and trapped inside right now. They're trying to flank around the outside of the map, and he could have a totally good sight line on him, but the spawn flip comes in because he was a little bit too far back in order to prevent it, and now Indiana Syndicate, they've got him exactly where they want them. If, like, worst case scenario, Trevor, Indiana Syndicate, they're even closer to getting the 200-point margin, which means they can win off of any of the remaining points, and they will have about a hard point and a half of a lead on Heartbreakers. This is a heartbreaking situation for Heartbreakers. Haha, very funny. But I'm serious. They can't really play for rotations right now because they're going to have to give due diligence to basically every objective now, from now on, to make sure Indiana Syndicate doesn't finish it right then and there.
Yeah, and we've seen Heartbreakers kind of play slow when it comes to these. They kind of already, like, again, already set up, have the first initial points on the hard point, but they get broken so easily. And then after they get broken, they just kind of set up for next. That's resulted in this 70-point deficit. I mean, you just can't. You have to give respect to the other team when they're on the point as much as they are. Syndicate, again, already breaking before that halfway mark into the hard point. Yeah, sure, you got a couple players or a player in top green if you're Heartbreakers, but that's not going to do much because Syndicate's just absolutely bullying them out of there. I mean, yeah, they pick up 2 and they're back in the point, but they see last time they would have already started to rotate. This pressure's not there. They've kind of learned from their mistakes. They are there, but it's bad news because they're spawning so far back.
Yeah, I think if Heartbreakers came back at this point, I would be well and truly astonished, Trevor. I hate to call things early, but Heartbreakers are in probably one of the worst positions you could possibly be in right now. They're so far behind, and Indiana Syndicate they can win off of any of their remaining objectives. Trezzy and the guys, they have to go ham, and Trezzy, he and 04 are actually doing a pretty decent job of flipping them out of the spawns with a full team wipe there. Indiana Syndicate, that is not what they needed, and Heartbreakers might be able to bridge the gap a little bit here. Gorilla is going to try and make a little bit of a flankerino around the side through the area that is being pre-aimed by 2 different people. He's going to need a little bit of assistance here, but he's got all the time in the world to do it here, Trevor. Yeah, as you can see, Dior, he's going to be kind of seeing him, but does he really see him? Well, he obviously does, and he gets laser focused on him to the point where they get broken.
Yeah, and there's that break, and you see Heartbreaker spawning so far back in that corner there, which is, again, not great. Sure, they're already kind of close to the next hill, but you have to get on that because Syndicate can technically win right here. So you have to get at least a contest for a second or two. That should do it right there. So Syndicate won't be able to win off this hard point, but the next one is right there. If you're Heartbreakers, you have to get kills, and you have to get them now to even stand a chance for this hard point. Like you said, I hate to call it, but just with how we've seen Indiana Syndicate play, it is not looking good for the Heartbreakers.
Yeah. Oh man, Indiana Syndicate. They can even play for this one if they want to. They've got next. They have oodles of options here, Trevor. They can either just play for next and not, or they can play for the break here. And when they get the break, they will probably win off of the break. So Heartbreakers, they did buy themselves a little bit of good positioning here with some good clutching up in the spawns and on the objective. And now they're starting to claw their way back here a little bit. Although 9 points remaining, this would be one of the greatest comebacks I've ever seen in any Call of Duty in general. So yeah, Viper, he's going to be hopping on to just contest it, but that's not getting him what he needs out of this, Trevor. Mug is actually going to be getting taken down here as well. And oh my goodness, Heartbreakers might be able to get themselves a little bit of good time here too. With a solid hold, they just cannot get broken in these next few objectives, Trevor. But Heartbreakers, they are starting to get a little bit of revival here as the break is starting to come in.
Wow, okay, so the Syndicate cannot win it there. I thought they were going to get that break and win it because we saw Heartbreakers again kind of just rotate to that next point. They had 3 players at next and only really 1 left on that point. Luckily, he was able to survive for as long as he did, or that'd have been game. So here, Heartbreakers have been broken 2 out of 2 times that they've held this point early. So I look for Syndicate to do the exact same thing and to win it here, unless some magic can be happening. Oh, he is shooting them in their mouths. So he didn't get the third. Those were 2 really big kills here. But Octane here for the like, he's going for it. Cinderella story right here. He hopped in at the last possible second to kill that person. They literally cannot give up a second and have to play perfect for the next couple hard points. This is tough because you do have a rotation to get to, and Syndicate have broken late before. So if you're Heartbreakers, you have to leave someone in this point to soak up as many points as you can, but the rest of the team has to run as fast as they can. But you just see Syndicate set up so well toward this next point.
Oh my god. DR coming up so huge potentially, but no! Trezzy and the guys, they cannot do it. Octavane, he had to stay there in order to get that last little bit of objective time, but oh my god, Trevor. That was just more close than it should have been. And you can't be too happy about that win if you are Indiana Syndicate. I gotta be totally honest with you. Obviously, you take every win that you get, but they were ahead by about... Oh my god, it is just insane how much of a lead they had, but then they lost going into those final 2 hard points. It was actually looking scary for them as Heartbreakers starting to potentially live up to the name here, Trevor. Almost lived up to the name. What? So true. The name almost rang so on point in that situation.
Yeah, it was. I mean, Heartbreakers just were looking completely lackluster there for the beginning of that map. We saw, yeah, sure they had early rotations, but they got broken so easily that it didn't matter. Syndicate just kind of bullied them all the way through. We did start to see some magic there at the end of it, but how much was that Syndicate just not going for the rotation as hard or not going for the break as hard because they knew they had that kind of cushion there. So like we saw them break the second to last point at the very end, and we're only a couple seconds away from it, and had another break there again. So they showed that they could break it when they needed to, because I mean it ended up getting really close there at the end. But I mean Syndicate were able to close it out. They had the lead the whole time. They had the slaying numbers the whole time, and just were able to kind of get the Garrison hardpoint. I mean now we're heading to Moscow Search and Destroy. Get to see a new map. I actually like this map, Search and Destroy, a lot. So as we see these maps and modes presented by GitGudHosts here, we do see that we get to the first part, the first layer of that Moscow sandwich here. So if we're going to see the full sandwich, we're going to need Heartbreakers to take one of these next 2 maps. Maybe they can do it for the S&D. They seem to have good positioning, just maybe not the kills. So S&D is where positioning can do a lot more for you.
Yeah, well, based on what I just saw there, the positioning game was well and truly in the hands of Indiana Syndicate for most of that game, and it's what won them the game in the end there. It was because they had out-rotated their opponents and they positioned themselves to where their opponents could not break them before they got one final second. And yeah, a lot of their kills not necessarily just came from just being cracked and better than their opponents. It came from good positioning to where less of their body was showing than their opponents, hence why they call it a head glitch. But what I'm saying here, Trevor, is I think Indiana Syndicate, despite having a bad record on this map, they'll probably do well in the search and destroy based on what I've seen tonight.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. I'm not exactly sure what was just said into my ear.
Me neither. I don't need one. But
yeah, so I mean, it'll be really exciting to see this Moscow. I agree that Syndicate did have some really good positioning there. So it could be really good. In this one, I'm interested to see some snipers pulled out. I definitely want to see that. You just love to see the sniper as someone who's casting or as someone who's watching too. I'm sure that all of our viewers would love to see a sniper pulled out and get some of those kind of early angles on the opposing team, especially for Moscow. There's some really cool angles that you can hit on this map. Sure, people know to watch them now. It wasn't as cool as it was the first couple weeks of the game, but it is really nice. Really nice to see. So we're waiting on some players to get into the lobby here.
I see.
So we should get started here really soon. But other than that, man, I'm just excited to see kind of how it's going to break out. Are we going to see any subs on Moscow? What kind of positioning are they going for? Will we get to see the sniper? I'm truly excited to see kind of how this next map plays out.
Oh, Trevor, I would be so surprised if we did not see at least one sniper per team. Obviously, you're only allowed to do one sniper per team now with new GAs, but oh my god, there are so many good spots in both attack and defense. So I would be very surprised, especially with how potent the snipers have been in the current season so far, if we didn't see one being pulled out at least 1 or 2 times. But yeah, subs, like you said, Trevor, they're very viable on this map. The AK-74U, especially going for the bomb sites themselves, they're just basically so integral with holding a lot of the necessary positions.
Yeah, because especially the 74U does have that mid range. So it's not like you're crippled when it comes to some of those longer gunfights against an AR. Like you do have the potential to pick up those kills. So that sub is definitely very viable. When it comes to this map specifically, you don't really see any other subs, which is kind of unfortunate because there are some good subs in this game.
Oh yes, there are.
Like the MP5 is really good up close, but that's not super viable on a lot of maps. So the 70, that's kind of why the 74. I mean, there are a couple. Crossroads for sure. You can kind of see it be viable, and then just some of the others. The Bullfrog is a really good, good sub for this game too. Like there are so many, but they're just not seeing the love yet. So maybe we get to see that kind of as the game kind of shakes out to what it's gonna be. Kind of as we. I mean, especially once the pros kind of get to their competitive season, because that usually shows really what's going to happen with the game. You can kind of see what's playing as you see so many different guns pulled out all the time. But I'm interested to see kind of what's your prediction for how many guns, like how many subs, snipers, like what are your gun predictions for the teams as we're just kind of waiting for them to get in the lobby?
One sniper, one sub, 2 ARs.
All right. I mean, that's pretty standard. I'm going to cop out there.
No, fun. Thanks.
Yeah. I'm kidding. It's all good.
Although, hold on, Trevor. Maybe, just maybe, we see some certain strats in which they pull out like 2 subs. Maybe they put one of the ARs away for a sub if they're trying to go for like a rush in and just completely pile drive their way onto one of the objectives type of strats. You know what I'm saying? I've seen that be done on Miami of all maps, believe it or not. So on a map like this, I would definitely say it's equally as viable, if not more viable, to do sub rush strats.
Yeah, I mean, 100% because it is a little bit. The only trouble there is the rotations are a little bit quicker if someone's not necessarily at the site. But some of those sub rushes could be really nice, especially toward that A bomb. You just kind of run through, stick one of your subs at the top of the escalators, and have the other just run to the bomb and kind of plant it because your sub's more than likely going to be carrying the bombs with how that kind of plays out. But that'd be really cool to see if we could see 2 subs off the break for that offense to go plant toward that A side. So that'd be really cool to see actually. So we should be in the lobby relatively soon for it to get started. I did hear a magic voice in my ear, but again was kind of mid sentence and didn't really hear it that well. So if I could get that one more time. Okay, perfect. It is starting. So you
Good.
do not have to look at our faces any longer, as we'll be in there just as soon as they kind of get in. And there's the transition. What is up, guys? We are on Moscow now.
Yeah, now Trevor, this is actually a map I wouldn't be surprised. We were talking about the MP5. I wouldn't be too surprised if we did see it here because
True.
it has a lot bigger of a range than a lot of people usually think. It's got almost the same effective range as the AK-74U, depending on the barrel you put on it. I know that the task force is technically GA'd right now, but with that, it basically puts it on par with it, in my personal opinion. Now, we're going to be seeing a very solid counter sub rush coming from the defenders here. Like we were saying, Trevor, sub rush strat definitely viable on this map.
Yeah, and we see that very successful as a counter strat for the Heartbreakers because 2 are dead for Syndicate. All you have left is, I mean, just kidding, it's just Yannick. 1v3 situation. How early can you pull out some of the hero plays here? As he is able to pick up 1, but does get shot in the back as soon as he gets that done. Heartbreakers take the first round 1-0. I mean, that all you see there is a really good counter strike. Here's the best play, just some shots. I mean, yeah, he may have still, like, I guess he got the trade. He got the trade there. No, he didn't. I don't know what's happening here. Either way, best play. I'm not sure how I feel about the best play anymore. But either way, Heartbreakers take the round. Syndicate, you have to answer here.
To be fair to him, he did kill half of the enemy team. But
No, I didn't even
04
look at that. Yeah.
But Dior did do pretty much the same thing, but 04 did manage to live to the end. Now, we're going to be seeing a complete flip of the script as Heartbreakers. I'm kind of curious to see what they're running. I do see that Dior is still running a sub. Smoke coming out to try and block off the sniper's line of sight at the very least. Another stun coming out to check the smoke, but Viper rushes the smoke with a sub, and they know exactly where he's going to be chilling at. Just got to check it just to be sure. Oh, this is a slaughter, Trevor. This is a slaughter for Indiana Syndicate, and Garrison is the only one left bottom. Eskies! Not anymore. It's going to be Heartbreakers just coming in fast and strong and leaving Indiana Syndicate a little bit disappointed.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that was just absolutely great from the side of the Heartbreakers. As you can see, just Octane uses that bomb for the positioning so well as he just kind of ran through to get there and was able to pick up those 2 kills relatively easy. We saw the early pick from Syndicate, but the trade was instantly there, and that allowed his teammates in Octane to kind of pick up those 2. I mean, 04 is still 3-0 right now. I wonder how many can he get to before he's kind of shut down. So we've seen Octane on the sniper for the defenses. He was running the sub on the offense. That's kind of a cool thing to note as he looks to get this angle for an A push, but nobody's really home for this as it looks like they're rotating toward the B side, if not maybe a late rotation to A, which could be cool because Heartbreaker is rotating toward B now.
That's a great little bit of angling out work from Mug. He does take down the guy on long, but Octane is there to replace him with a sniper rifle now. Good thing for them is that they've now got control over the inside, courtesy of Mug, and now control over mid. Things are looking very, very not good for Octane as he does run straight on in to a very kawaii SMG waiting for him as Indiana Syndicate does finally break out and get their first round courtesy of Mug. Holy mackerel, that was solid, Trevor.
It really was, and that's exactly what you need to see from your teammate if you're anyone on the Indiana Syndicate, because you needed to answer back there. Going down 0-3 is not fun at all. No one wants to see that scoreline. Mug goes big here as he kind of breaks in and get those last couple kills. Couple mantles, couple just running through doors, shooting people in the mouths. It's really cool to see. You love to see that. But either way, 1-2 Indiana Syndicate. Let's see if they get bullied off this offense again like they did the last time.
Now, I think they're probably going to be playing a little bit different because they know that Heartbreakers, the only 2 rounds they've won, the first 2 rounds, excuse me, they have only played super aggro. Playing super aggro again, but in a different way. They're going to be rushing from mid, trying to get control over B, but little do they know that everyone is all the way behind them. Dior actually going to try and get some rotations here potentially, but I don't know. That's a really strong play from Heartbreakers. Whenever you try and go for B, that is the most successful way I've seen of doing it. And now they've got a solid post-plant situation with none of them dying.
Yeah, and that was it was really crazy that no one was watching mid-map because they ran up mid-map for free.
04.
So yeah, 04. Okay, so that's a really big spot for him there as he does kind of take that power position in the back. It's left up to Viper as it is a 1v1 now. Octane versus Viper. This is big. Bomb is down. With just a few seconds left to do it. Octane is going to be waiting for him in that door. That's not exactly where I expected him to be, but that was actually a really good spot as Octane does pick that up and secures the 3-1 lead for the Heartbreakers.
I guess he wasn't expecting him to be there either, Trevor, because, you know, he literally walked right into him. If he had been just a little bit more careful, he could have literally shot up Octavane without him having really any way of retreating with cover. He would have had to take a few extra shots after the first ones came in. Might not have gotten out of there. I've seen it happen a lot from people sitting in that particular position. So I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention to how much time he had left, so maybe Trezzy felt a little bit pressed for time, and maybe he was. So I'm not going to blame him at all for that.
I believe there was about 15, 14 seconds when that kill, that final kill did happen. But here we see the A push from Syndicate, as Heartbreakers are there to kind of defend. Not all of them, though. It was just 2 left there. So Indiana Syndicate should have early control, as each team has lost 1 life in terms of a player. Mug here just kind of holding this angle, kind of wanting to go to get that bomb down as soon as he can, probably.
Yeah, lack of intel from Indiana Syndicate just breeding fear of pushing in. Now that the rest of their teammates are here, they're going to try and make some money moves here. Oh, Mug coming up so huge yet again. Trezzy going to try and make a little bit of a play from Eskies, but the one is sitting there and waiting. He's just sitting so patiently, waiting for the... Oh, you got to be kidding me. I can't believe he didn't get that trade out for that. Trezzy just got away with murder yet again as he stops the bomb from being planted.
Yeah, and that's really big for him because instead of a 3v1 retake, it's going to be a 2v1 retake. So bomb is just now down. Now he has all those 45 seconds to work with. So here you're going to see Syndicate just kind of turtle up and kind of make sure that they don't get any... They need to take these gunfights together, not one-on-one, kind of like they are right now. This could be big for Trezzy as he is going to push up right now. Can he get this one? He's got to get that first pick there. This is going to be really tough for him because now they're probably going to push together. I guess they don't really have to because he has to defuse, so they're just kind of pressuring him. I've seen these played more aggressively. Oh, how did he not see them there? That's unfortunate for Trezzy there, as he was unable to get that guy kind of around the corner. But as we get a party invite,
It's not a big deal. But
yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of fun to see. But either way, I mean, that's big. That's a big ground for Syndicate as they do manage to stay here, because we've seen Heartbreakers kind of they've kind of bullied their way through a couple of those rounds. And it shows Indiana Syndicate's resilience. Kind of as they're able to kind of take those, especially when you have someone that's 1-4 right now. It's good for him that they're winning those rounds. Get him back into the game. Gorilla can slay. We saw it in the last map actually. So let's get him going. If you're Syndicate, and let's take a couple rounds here.
As you can see, Indiana playing a little bit more conservative in some ways, but in some ways not. Gorilla coming around the side, and he does double his kills, now up to 2 instead of 1. He's coming around the back, just being an absolute nuisance. Trezzy gonna have to peel off and come and face him, and it is a 2v2 on the site with Gorillas coming around the back. He's gonna run right into another one, whom he does pick off again. Back rages on fleek for Gorillas, as, I don't know, 0-4, he's gotta know that the guy is far enough away to where he can get a plant or rotate. He probably could have gotten the plant down by now because he knows where the last guy is in the form of Gorilla, but now he totally can't because he wasted his opportunity, in my opinion. But, I mean, yeah, Gorilla, he's just looking for him, just trying to get in a weird position that he doesn't expect. And with the plant coming down, Trevor, it might just come into his favor.
Yeah, you actually do love to see that. The bomb was able to get down there. But, I mean, Gorilla, that's big for him. So I mentioned him at the beginning of this round. He kind of came to life. Instead of a 1-4, he is 4-4, picking up 3 of the kills in that round to tie it for Indiana Syndicate. That's exactly what you want from that team. Such a key player like Gorilla. Being able to he hit 2 crazy wide flanks, actually. He was kind of in their back at the very beginning and then came back and was in their back again because he was where their front should have been. We got a double flank. we got a double flank there from Gorilla when it worked out really good because we saw him pick up 3 individual kills and secure the round for his team. Now it's 3-3. We have a couple more rounds to play, but Kyle, this is round 7.
It is. It hasn't rung as true in this game as it did in Modern Warfare, Trevor. But, I mean, it does still give you the mathematical advantage of putting some pressure on your opponents. Because if you win one more round after that, your opponents are screwed. That basically makes it so that they cannot go round for round for you anymore, Trevor. They have to take 2 in a row at some point. Now, Mug and his guys, they've gone for a solid hit out on the objective right now. They're a little bit conscientious of the fact that they have only 1 person covering and there's 2 people back there. He's going to go for the plant, and yeah, this is exactly what they had to be doing the entire time. A little bit of indecision from the plant coming off early is not going to be making an impact on the game anymore, Trevor. Solid take from Indiana Syndicate.
Yeah, it really was. Honestly, now it's just left all up to Argbane, who is at the other site right now. So he's gonna have to rotate over into a 1v3, but he's gonna know that Gorilla's gonna be on some kind of crazy flank, as that's what he's done the whole time. So now it's gonna be essentially a 1v2 at the site. If he can take this, that's gonna be big first. But then he has a whole nother player to worry about. Unable to even get one Indiana Syndicate take the round, and that is a huge shift in momentum as they now take the lead 4-3 against the Heartbreakers.
Yeah, I think they've won like how many rows now, Trevor? Is that just 2 or is that 3 in a row?
I believe that's 3.
That is 3 in a row. Definitely not going to be feeling too good if you're Heartbreakers right now. I mean, the thing that really hampered down Heartbreakers on the attack was exactly what, helped out Indiana Syndicate. They were mindful of the rotation, and as soon as they got site control, they weren't very... What I'm trying to say here is that they weren't paralyzed with fear of trying to go for the plant because there was somebody potentially coming from their rear. They had someone watching that, and they also had someone covering it. While Heartbreakers pretty much had the same thing, but they were a little bit too indecisive when going for the plant, and it paid them the ultimate price there.
This is a funny little angle between 04 and who is that on the other side? Mug. So it's kind of who's gonna move first, as Mug is kind of set up, but 04 is watching it right now. Oh no, this could be. I'm so excited to see what happens. 04 is dead. Yeah, so that's big. He didn't even get killed by Mug, so Mug's position might not be given away here. As his teammate was able to pick it up. No, he did get shots, but that's huge. That's 2 kills from Mug there. Oh my goodness, this dude is frying them all up to Dior in a 1v3. Bomb is down. They know exactly where it's at. Good luck, dude. Indiana Syndicate are going to go up 5-3 unless some magic happens here.
Yeah, they're like, we don't see anyone else left in their spawn, so Dior might be on the flank. Is coming and doing some good for him right now. Does fry 1. But some good rotations coming in. Oh, this is going to be a tight one. But the other player does finally find Dior himself and does put a swift end to that. I just love this angle from Mud, how they play that. Like you said it so well, Trevor. I love the way you put it. And that was such a solid position. They could not push in. And whoever had to blink first doesn't matter because Heartbreakers pretty much had to go in there. They had the onus to attack there.
Yeah, and it was not very successful, as now we have Indiana Syndicate on the offensive. Let's see kind of what it looks like. Maybe a mid push. They're leaning a little bit more toward B, not necessarily the mid push that we did see from Heartbreakers a little bit earlier. But I mean, they're definitely gonna have the numbers advantage here if they can pick up. Number 5 is gonna be Octane.
Oh.
He could be really big for them, as he's kind of in that 1v1 gunfight. Does lose it though, to I believe, I don't know who that was, maybe Viper. Name was kind of long, so that's huge. He does pick up that 1v1 gunfight. Now it's up to Treasy on the site. Other than that, okay, never mind. Number 3, who could have been big for his team, does fall mid-map. But it's going to be Mug. Treasy able to pick that up, is traded out instantly, though. All up to Viper. He's going to have, not all up to Viper, but he's kind of the one on the site right now, kind of down and dirty in the trenches. He's able to get that kill right there. That is big. 04, it's all up to him versus Viper. 1v1, here we go. 04, you have to win this if you're going to keep your team in this and not go down 0-2 in a map count.
Yeah, I really loved the aggression there from Indiana Syndicate. Instead of going for the plant there, they decided to go a little bit aggro, and he's going to catch him out yet again. He's not going for the plant. He's going for the kill. Anticipates him to a T there, Trevor. He got him. He's inside his head. He's living in there rent-free. The man, especially at a time like this, you need a place that you can live that is cheap and affordable, and apparently the heads of Heartbreakers are very, very spacious and affordable.
Yeah, and that's huge for Viper because he got that initial first gunfight against, I can't remember who exactly it was, but kind of as they were first getting over toward B, he won that 1v1, and that's why he was in the position to do what he was doing. So that was huge for him. Big plays all around for Indiana Syndicate. Honestly, they were down so bad. They were down bad early on, and then they were able to kind of rally past it and kind of take that. What was it, 6-3? So yeah, to be down, I believe it was 3-1 and win 6-3 is huge. Huge momentum. So we kind of saw it on the not necessarily on the back of Gorilla, but once he kind of shifted gears, the whole team just kind of ran with it, which was huge. It's really cool to see if you're a Syndicate fan because they were down, I believe, 1-3 at one point. Then able to bring it back. Tough looks for Heartbreakers. But maybe it was the response they won the Moscow.
Yeah, I mean Sorry, that was totally possible that is where they wanted in, Trevor. They I mean, control on this map, especially if you're the defenders, is a very hard thing to go up against on the attacking side. Now, something that we had talked about that has changed control just a little bit, especially since they did have their last scrim. I did get some intel from our production team that their scrim was about at the beginning of the month, so I don't think that the new patch was out just yet. That changed all this stuff, Trevor. So what I'm trying to say here is that there's a new thing that's coming into play that could give them an edge, even if they are on the attack, and that is the fact that if they can just outslay their opponents like they have been so far, they can get the final defense.
That's all it takes. Yeah, because the defense does come out. It's number of deaths, not kills. So that's big. Yeah, sure, 2 people can get shots on someone that looks like you have more kills on your scoreboard, but it's gonna matter those deaths. Okay. We're actually, before we kind of break down this control, we're gonna head to a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with the Moscow control.
For the stars, 'cause we're aiming high.
Reese's, Jamie giving him one, looking for the second.
But no one really watching the main run up. And oh, what a trophy system!
What?
Lateral kill! One thing I do have to say, after coming out of that trailer there, is I love that you got that double kill with the trophy system in there. That was just such a highlight of my moment. I was like, what on God's green earth just happened there? But yeah, back on topic, ladies and gentlemen, GitGudHosts. They have been doing a great job for us tonight. Their hosts have been clean and succinct, and we've been not having really any internet issues tonight, Trevor, so at least on our side. So it seems to be a good night so far for servers.
Yeah, and that's really good to see, especially kind of not necessarily the servers, but with kind of how the game has started off in terms of all the glitches. It's good to see that we're kind of, and not to jinx it, I mean, knock on wood right now, but we haven't had any of the glitches or anything like that. So it's really good that we're just kind of getting through smooth sailing for this series. I'm really excited to kind of finish this out. Can Heartbreakers break Syndicate's heart with the reverse sweep? Is that why that's their name? Did they go down 0-2 on purpose? We can't know these things until we play these next couple maps. But to talk about kind of the Moscow just a little bit more, so we're going to be able to see. I'm actually really excited to get into this because we're going to, yeah. So the game will be getting started. So we're going to be right into it. But this Moscow, so Indiana Syndicate have outslayed Heartbreakers kind of the whole time. I'm sure we saw some magic early on for Heartbreakers. In that search and destroy, but the respawn was the score line looked close at the end, but that was really dominated by Syndicate, especially with the slaying numbers. So if that's true for this control, we're going to see Syndicate maybe they even win an offense, which would be big on this Moscow. But here we kind of see the initial break, and it looks like they're going to send a couple people mid-map for Syndicate to kind of get this control.
Yeah, something that I've seen be very effective in this mode now, Trevor, is playing it like it's team deathmatch with fixed spawns. And I'm sure that's what Indiana Syndicate is probably thinking as well. They've got the guy down on escalators now, so that vector of attack is now completely out of the picture for Indiana Syndicate. They are starting to get a little bit of time here with the distraction mid. They forced a lot of attention there, but they're still getting a lot of time and control on this objective. NSYNC, he really wants to go for the chow and take this guy down himself, but he's got to have some faith in his teammates to cover that angle for him, because if he goes down, someone else has to take his spot, and they're not as dug in as he is, so they might die.
Yeah, and it looks like maybe Heartbreakers in another case. They haven't talked it yet. JK, he's dead. So that's going to be B secured with 2 minutes to kind of work toward A4 Syndicate. That's huge time, and when you're not necessarily outslaying a ton yet, you're only up 2 lives. But historically through this series, having outslayed as much as you have, if it really gets going, it's going to be tough for Heartbreakers. He's 0-3 right now, but this man has shown that he has kind of that power to kind of shift the momentum for his team. So it looks like they're kind of grouping together, deciding what kind of push they're going to hit. Number 3, number 4. Yannick and Viper, they're going to kind of hit this flank, and this is a big flank here because they can kind of just kind of destroy the spawns of the other team and just spawn kill all of them, which is kind of what we're seeing here. They're not necessarily toward the point, but those players that are at A, their heads are going to have to turn if 3 and 4 can keep doing this damage.
Yeah, I mean, only one of those going to be left now. That's Yannick, I think is how you're saying it. I'm going to try and say it the same way, but oh man, Octane is going to be trying to cut off the reinforcements, which he does. Speaking of cutting off the reinforcements, Yannick, he's probably going to get a call out from his teammates soon that they're all pushed up mid, so he could potentially go around the back and get some not only back rages, but some time on the objective to force them to come back a little bit. Yannick is actually in a very good position, but they just have to realize that they're all pushed up like they are right now. And I think Yannick has finally gotten the call out here, Trevor, because he's on the move. He might be able to catch one in the back real quick. I want to see some Yannick right now, my friend. He is in a prime position to do some solid damage. He's got one on a silver platter for him, just pushes him towards his teammates who do die from a much greater count of enemies. But they do have to be a little bit concerned about Yannick here, although his teammates aren't really being able to give him some good help here.
Yeah, they're going to know that he's here now, especially with that kill, but he's going to have these players on him. That's going to be tough. He will die there. So there's only about 20 seconds left for Syndicate to do anything. They're not super close to the point yet, so they need to get these kills and get on the point, but they only have 6 live respawns left to 14 remaining. This does not look good as there's only about 10 seconds left. It looks like Heartbreakers are going to take this first defense, as we see with Moscow traditionally, as the defense is very favored on this map. So Heartbreakers are going to take it and go 1-0 for this control.
Yeah, I'm going to be straight up honest. That is a no bueno start from Indiana Syndicate. They didn't necessarily need to win that, but they didn't need to lose it by that many lives. I think I counted a 9 life differential coming out of this first round, which is pretty dang huge, especially if you're going blow for blow with your opponents now on the attack. It's very unlikely that they're going to be able to just, completely bulldoze them like they were, or I don't know. If they do bulldoze them, then they won't be around for it. They won't have as much time here. So I'm sure Heartbreakers are going to take their life advantage here and not go to aggro here because they want to keep it towards the end.
Yeah, it's going to play a big role if this does go the distance, which is looking... I mean, you can't say it's looking like it's might because Indiana Syndicate did not have a very good showing in that first round, and it looks like with the first blood going toward the side of Heartbreakers, it might not be the same. Just getting 2 kills for Syndicate there. You can't focus too much on that kill feed early in these controls because so much can happen with positioning and stuff. But yeah, Syndicate's going to have to really do something here as Heartbreakers decided to kind of head toward A first. They did or did not get the tick. I'm not sure. I didn't necessarily see it. No, so they did not get the tick onto A. So it was all for nothing. There's a whole lot of time gone. You do have one player, 0-4 here. He is in their spawn, but he has so many players on him. That's tough, but that allowed his team to kind of stack B here. And maybe they can get a couple ticks before Syndicate even gets anywhere close to them. So this is big, especially from Gorilla, who's actually in the back, I believe. Is he going to win that one-on-one against number 5 there? Octane, they're not fighting yet. No, okay, he's not. As off the top ropes, Octane does end up taking down Gorilla, who's at a 4-10 stat line. That is not what you want to see in a control, especially on a map as defensively favored as Moscow.
Yeah, now the good thing for Heartbreakers is that they did get that initial break on that objective. So they're pretty much right where Indiana Syndicate was, but they're in a little bit better of a spot because look at the life difference. It's 3 instead of 9 at the end for Indiana Syndicate. So Indiana Syndicate is winning the defenses all and good, but they have to really throttle them in terms of lives right now in order to get things back to where they will get the final defense, which it could go that way. Heartbreakers have been making some good progress towards A, or at least they were in the beginning. But some good, solid holds and positioning here from Indiana Syndicate is going to make it very unlikely that they manage to get much more out of it, though they do have a minute.
Yeah, they have a minute to win it, but they don't really have a tick yet, so they're going to have to get this pressure. Dior was that pressure at first, unable to do anything with it. Treasy's kind of there, but his nade stopped by a trophy almost in his hands. So not really any entries from that, and he does die, so that's not looking very good for Heartbreakers. Unless they can kind of get a wipe here. They have to get essentially 2 wipes to be able to take this out. They only have 40 seconds to do it. They've done it so far in the control, at least, they've been able to kind of win it. So Yannick is going to kind of be there to kind of stop that initial thing. There's not necessarily a full wipe because there's so much pressure, but the time has stopped with that player on the point. Just kidding, he's dead. So yeah, this looks like
huge.
well, that's a big 2-piece because now there's no one really close for Heartbreakers. Vipers again going big kind of on those stairs. We saw him do it on Moscow last time too. Those are his stairs. No one else is allowed on them. Only Viper. Get away from the stairs.
Yeah, I mean, look at that life difference now, Trevor. We were talking about it going into it. It is about 13 plus now in the favor of Indiana Syndicate. You got a -9 from that, but yeah, I think that Heartbreakers were realizing, oh crap, they are killing us a lot. I don't know if they read that part of the patch notes that I did and realized that they need to make sure that they don't lose their death deficit over their opponents, but that definitely helped out Indiana there. They got an insane amount of kills there towards the end because of their solid setup. And to be totally honest with you, Trevor, even though the offenses were very similar in the fact that both teams were able to take B, Indiana Syndicate had a much more convincing hold on the other objective, the A objective. And I mean, whereas Indiana was able to break through sometimes, Heartbreakers were absolutely not able to do the same thing.
And right now, as it stands, it looks like Heartbreakers do have more deaths than Syndicate, but that's just quick math, and I'm not the best at it.
You're right.
So just kind of looking at that. So that's going to be big for them, especially kind of as they struggled on that initial offense. So if they can keep, even if you don't win this, and you know that you can win your next defense, just don't get completely outslayed if you're Syndicate. Kind of play this big brain, and you can kind of take the series here. I'm not sure if they're aware of that, if they're going to know to play for it. It is still kind of early for those patch notes, so maybe not all the teams are super aware of that. But I'm sure they are. They play the game all the time.
Yeah.
But here we're gonna have they do have the pressure at B. They got just about a tick, not quite, as that is going to be shut down there by Octavane. So we do have a couple gunfights happening at B, which could be big because they're going to need that extra time if they're kind of going to make that play toward A. So yeah, they're not quite on it yet, as they did have to spawn up to kind of get there, especially with all that mid-map pressure from Heartbreakers. So this is kind of big because maybe we don't even get to see the full B this time. This is played a little bit different than it has because we've had B capped by now on both of the previous offenses.
You know, Trevor, in my mind, they are still definitely going to get this. They've got a solid setup, and they're pivoting so well depending on where Heartbreakers are coming from. They're mid. Oh, let's pivot towards the bus and the globe. Oh, they're coming from the bus and the globe. Let's pivot towards mid. And yeah, I mean, the pivot's coming a little bit too fast and strong for Heartbreakers, so they do actually stop the progress going on for a second here. But I mean, Indiana Syndicate, they have kept the lives close, and I think still in their favor. So even if they don't take B, that doesn't really make too much of a difference, because Heartbreakers, they really need to get some lives back because they had it and they lost it there, Trevor. And in fact, I think they might want this to happen so that they can have some more time to get more kills. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and it is a lot closer now than it was before. So it is kind of get down to that nitty-gritty math, but I do believe that Syndicate does have it here, but we have a whole nother round to play after this one. So this isn't right now determining who gets it. That'll be a kind of a cool thing to highlight in the next round, depending on who's winning it at that point. But as of right now, it looks like this is going to be a Heartbreakers defense, as they're just kind of all look at the positioning that they have right now toward that A side. They kind of have everything covered. Trees, he's kind of watching the back for who's that going to poke out? Vipers, he might poke out, but Trees, oh no, Trees got smoked. He got smoked right there. So it's going to be big for Syndicate if they can kind of get this break here, as they're just kind of picking up kills, kind of heading toward it. Less than double-digit respawns remaining for each team, about 30 seconds left on the clock. This could get kind of dicey.
Yeah, and that really, you might not think it's going to go into the hands of Indiana Syndicate, but that really plays into their hands. They had about a 4 respawn advantage, and look at the respawns now. They're dead even on this one, so Heartbreakers not doing anything really to catch up to that. Although they are going to start getting some good kills now, they've just got to make sure that they keep these headies strong. And Indiana Syndicate, I don't know, at this point, they're just kind of throwing their lives away unnecessarily, because no way are they going to get the touch on the objective and take it, even if they do win that gunfight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm not sure if I throw the lives that they because you were right, they were just throwing lives at the other team, or throwing kills to the other team there at the end of it, which wasn't the best thing at that point. You know, it's chalk, just kind of back up and save your life. Don't get the extra deaths. It's already really close. So it's really going to come down to this round and kind of how it
Oh
plays.
wow.
Yeah, so it's I don't know math, but that looks really close.
I think Heartbreakers has it very slightly here, Trevor.
Yeah, they may. So it's going to really come down to kind of how this plays out. So we got to really pay attention to these respawns this time. So Heartbreakers are going to be on the offense, so they do have a disadvantage here. If Syndicate can kind of do the smart thing, post up and get a couple extra kills, you absolutely have to outslay Heartbreakers because it is so close. You need that defense. No one's won the offense. So for Syndicate, win the defense, don't give up on a bunch of lives, and you have a chance to close this out 3-0.
Yeah, but man, Trevor, this is a power burn and a half coming out from Heartbreakers. They just went 4 on, and they got that really fast without losing really any lives at all. They lost 2, Trevor. They lost 2. And now they've got 2 minutes as well. They've got lives and time for days as he shot punches. Oh my goodness, Viper right in the face. Viper gonna need a facial reconstruction from a plastic surgeon after that one. But yeah, they're just ahead by lives. They've got time for days, Trevor. They can even say, hey, you know what? Let's just try and win the offense here. They could, in theory, do that, but oh, they all get wiped at that exact moment as I say that, so maybe not. They do still have some time before Indiana gets into proper positioning, though.
Yeah, so we got to break down kind of as what the lives were. As I saw it, the Indiana Syndicate had the advantage kind of as that was posted, so it is very close with kind of who's going to have this control here. But, I mean, right now, it doesn't matter if Heartbreakers can close this out because they've had a really good round so far. Obviously, Syndicate has been able to kind of deter that as they are technically up 3-4 respawns. Everyone died as I tried to look at that. So they did lose it there. Syndicate did exactly what they needed to do. They kind of posted up. They're like, okay, so let's just chill out for a second. So Heartbreakers are going to go for this full mid push right here, just trying to get toward A to kind of create that pressure. Only about a minute left, so I mean, this is kind of with how Control plays and where the respawns are looking. This is shaping up for Indiana Syndicate to win this defense and to take the defense on the next round.
It's very, very close on lives right now, Trevor. But as you can see, Indiana Syndicate, they are ahead by, I think, like 2. I think they're ahead by about 2 on aggregate. But regardless, they're Heartbreakers at this point. You got to be like, you know what? Probably not going to get A. Probably not going to get A. Let's just get some picks and play for the final defense. That seems to be the smart pathway to victory here. And even if they do get enough picks, they could go in. But I don't know. I wouldn't even risk it at that point because you see they get a little bit in their heads that they can go through and win this because of the picks that they just got. And now Dior is the only one left standing. Does get 1 in the process and a 2 in the process. Holy crap. Dior is on a whole nother level, but challenges with 6 health. That is going to be it. But just like we were saying, Trevor, I think Indiana Syndicate did enough, maybe.
Yeah, I believe that they will. That they should have the advantage. The advantage being the defensive side in this last round. So we haven't seen an offensive win yet. Those are kind of rare on Moscow when the slaying numbers are so close. Yeah, so Syndicate does have the advantage. They are on the defensive side. If you're the Heartbreakers, that kind of breaks your heart.
Yeah, I hate to say it here, Trevor, but they have no one else to blame for their defeat other than themselves right there. They had a thorough life advantage going on there, and they could have exploited it going into the final round. They could have just played that round safe and been like, you know what? Let's just try and rack up as many kills as we can. Play this like team deathmatch and get ourselves a cushion going into the next round if it does go that far. But they didn't. They just tried to win it outright, which I admire the bravery of trying to do that, but it just wasn't the most informed play that they could have made. And now Indiana Syndicate, they're going to have the defense that they have been rocking on so far. Live's not really meaning anything anymore here, Trevor, but they're starting to make their play for A here, Heartbreakers. They've actually got 3 people on it, and this might be a solid performance for them as they're going to power burn this, no doubt.
Yeah, and they already have a tick and a half kind of as I'm talking with someone at B as well. So I think if you're Syndicate, you got to focus A because it's easier to defend kind of toward the end of the round. I mean, you got to kill these players off of it. This does not look good for Syndicate right now as they're all falling. And that's probably going to be A capped. So oof. So Syndicate had the advantage going into this, but it is not looking good for them as there's already 2 ticks onto B. And B is so easy for the offensive to kind of take. With how it shapes up. Holy Jesus, this is the quickest offense that I've ever seen. Heartbreakers take it and they win. I'm
astonished.
Like I am like thoroughly. I don't know what happened. that's how you play an offense. Someone check the VOD, I guess. Do exactly what Heartbreakers did if you want to win a Moscow offense, because what?
Dude, I don't know. I was going into that thinking that Indiana Syndicate would just do what they always did in the rounds previous when they had the defensive side. I thought that they probably would have been able to cinch it, but they got straight up outplayed there. They could not just bring themselves to give up one of the objectives or the other. And they just, on top of that, they couldn't win any gunfights, Trevor. That was the main issue, is that they lost their equal footing gunfights. They lost their 2v2 over on A. They lost it a second time on A, and then they just could not break through the hole that they had on their spawn after they had taken A to get back onto B in a meaningful enough amount of time. That was just, in part, mostly well played by Heartbreakers, but also a little bit of a throw from Indiana Syndicate, if I'm being totally honest. That's just my proper assessment.
My proper assessment is that Syndicate got smoked in
Yes.
that last round of control there. That's kind of what I'm gonna go with. They just got absolutely smoked there. So we will get to see Moscow one more time. We get to see all three parts of that sandwich, at least in terms of kind of the meat for it. So we are gonna head to a quick break before we head into this next Moscow hardpoint. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back.
Somehow I woke up out in Beverly, fucked up, smelling like that bourbon, and I end up alone. I'm not certain. Yeah, the girls impolite in the club every night. That's how it goes when you Hollywood perfect. Hollywood perfect. That's how it goes when you Hollywood perfect. Ain't got no place to call my own. Feels like I'm better off alone. So sad inside and hopeless. These Hollywood hoes never notice. Can't get back up. Girl, I miss you. Can't get back up. Girl, I miss you. Somehow I woke up out in Beverly, fucked up, smelling like that bourbon, and I end up alone. I'm not certain. Yeah, the girls impolite in the club every night. That's how it goes when you Hollywood perfect. Hollywood perfect. That's how it goes when you Hollywood perfect. Somehow I woke up out in Beverly, fucked up, smelling like that bourbon, but I end up alone. I'm not certain. Yeah, the girls impolite in the club every night. Somehow I woke up out in Beverly, fucked up, smelling like that bourbon, how'd I end up alone? I'm not certain. Yeah, the girls impolite in the club every night. That's how it goes when you're Hollywood perfect. toxic. Reach for the stars, 'cause we're aiming high.
Reese's, Jamie giving him one, looking for the second.
But no one really watching the main run up. And oh, what a trophy system!
What?
Lateral kill!
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back, and we're getting ready to head to Moscow one more time. Yeah, it's always fun, definitely fun, to see the same map 3 times in a row. I love it every time that I do it.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I'm a little bit surprised. I'm never surprised to see 3 maps be picked of the same map, excuse me. But Moscow is definitely one that I am a bit surprised to see 3 times, especially in a row. But I mean, dude, we're getting the full tour of Moscow today. We are getting a straight up like bed and breakfast full day tour with a tour guide and everything of Soviet Union era Moscow. And it has been a interesting time so far. I mean, despite the fact that Heartbreakers were having the advantage coming in on Moscow, that was the only map that they beat them on, they said, but they've only won it 1 time. So I don't know if it's just the fact that they're better on the respawn on this map than Indiana Syndicate based on the way they play Garrison. I wouldn't think that they're gonna necessarily just blow them out on this, but I could be totally wrong, Trevor.
I mean, technically the scoreline was really close kind of on that first hard
You
point.
are right.
So we could see something. It could get a little bit dicey as we are going to load right into this map because they're getting in. They are getting ready to start. I'm kind of interested to see kind of what the breakoff is, what they choose to do, things like that, blah, 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 typical starting hardpoint stuff. So we are going to get right into here. So last time we saw Syndicate essentially just bully Heartbreakers for the entirety of the hardpoint. So the scoreline was close, but it was not close. So let's kind of see. I'm excited to see what happens because Heartbreakers did technically just win the only Moscow respawn that we've seen them play.
Yeah, now the thing is here for Heartbreakers, they can go for this one of 2 ways. They can either win out the spawns, which 04 is doing a pretty dang good job of so far. He's won his fight for the buses, and he's probably going to get to the spawn flip location before Yannick can kill him. Or they can go in for some time on this objective to mitigate the effect of Indiana Syndicate potentially getting 40-ish seconds off of the next objective. So yeah, it looks like they're kind of going for a little bit of both here. 04 just being a little bit of a nuisance at the back, but Indiana Syndicate not letting Heartbreakers get more than 6 seconds on this objective. Indiana Syndicate getting their objectives down pat and holding the spawns and just denying the time to Heartbreakers. And in fact, they're getting a little bit themselves. This is a great start for Indiana.
Oh, 100% it is. And big plays by Yannick. I mean, he's 0-2, but it was big. Because he managed to he played the anchor. Sure, you're not going to have the most amount of kills when you're kind of sitting there making sure your team gets spawns. So if you look at it, I mean, the kills are really close, just about even. But Syndicate has definitely played this so much better in terms of positioning and spawns and things like that. So Heartbreaker does get this break. It looks like the spawns may have flipped, but there are some pretty close ones there for Syndicate. Yeah, so Heartbreakers has done a really good job to kind of get back into this one through the break, kind of through the rotation to make sure they were set up for this second point. Not necessarily where they set up for it, but they got the break, got the points. They're not down as bad anymore. Syndicate's probably going to comfortably pick up these the last 20 seconds of this hard point though. But we can see Heartbreakers kind of get set up for the rotation, kind of get into some position.
Speaking of the rotation there, Trevor, you spot Viper fragging out one, just dragging these guys out of position to where now, maybe, just maybe, Indiana Syndicate could push these guys on through. I think Viper is waiting for the rest of his teammates to try and hit this one guy out. He's all by himself, goes 1 for 1 on the trade, but ain't nobody back there to hold these spawns for Heartbreakers anymore, and the flip comes in nice and strong. Octane trying to do the proper reversal on them, WWE style. He does get one of them, and I think the spawn's going to flip yet again, and they do. This is the most volatile spawn situation I've ever seen on any Moscow so far, Trevor. But Heartbreakers, I mean, they did have a guide show in mid-map. I think that's a proper way of actually denying a spawn flip after one actually does come down, counting a spawn flip, excuse me, after one does come down, keep a guy mid-map, and then just go right on back through and smack it right back on out from where they came.
Hey Kyle, did you see 04 get absolutely turned on before he respawned?
I did not.
Bro, it was he got turned on.
Yeah,
He should have gotten the kill and kind of had the control there, but it was awful. Man had bad indeed. But either way, we are seeing Syndicate kind of pull ahead kind of early, but not by a lot. It's only by about 30 seconds here on the point. As Heartbreaker is just getting more and more points kind of as I speak. We do see not a full frontal yikes from Syndicate as they are trying to kind of break this hard point. They do have one player that's kind of trying to cause some damage toward the mid. He does die, and it is going to be that maybe they just go for the full break here, but Heartbreaker's just kind of set up. They have definitely done exactly what they need to do to get back into the game here, as they just kind of held that hard point for the first however many seconds there were.
Oh my god, Trevor, this setup for Heartbreakers is just absolutely oppressive in the extreme. Their opponents they can't come from really any direction to hit them out. And Indiana Syndicate, they seem to be trying to keep these spawns. Well, they're doing it now as well because they should be doing it now, but they did it earlier too, and at that point, you really don't gotta worry about the spawns because you still got the whole next objective to get those spawns back. I get it's inconvenient, but you just gotta do something in order to prevent that from happening. They basically got a full 60 off of that, and they're right back in the game and now ahead of Indiana Syndicate, though a recovery potentially coming out from Indiana with the current spawn situation. That could have been easily avoided, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, 100% it could have. So now you see Heartbreaker is actually on the point, soaking up this time. Number 5 going big, Octane. He's doing exactly what he needs to. He's kind of holding down the point while killing any pressure that comes anywhere close to him. His teammates are kind of there, kind of circling around, making sure that no one gets anywhere close. As this is a really good hold from Heartbreakers right now. They're positioned very well. Number 3 did spawn in the back. Number 4 too. So it looks like, wow, but then number 7 spawned in the back too. So a little bit of weird spawns there. It does happen, especially when you have a hard point so central to the map. But it looks like in terms of the spawns that are needed, Indiana Syndicate are going to prevail for this next point. So they should be able to get some decent time here because they did pick up a lot on this point last time as well. It's kind of where they started to get ahead, really. So let's see if Syndicate can kind of hold on and get themselves back into the game because they're down by 30 points right now.
Yeah, I mean, Heartbreakers, they did enough on the last objective to where this one doesn't mean as much as it normally would have, especially with that break from Dior. That's going to not just get them like 2 seconds. That's not what matters here, Trevor. What matters is that they're bending these guys out of positions, and now they've allowed TZ to get in a spot inside of police station, shoots the guy off the objective, and now they're going to have to play some pickup here while Heartbreakers get some objective time, and Trezzy not going down easy. He's got 4 bullets. I don't think he quite realizes this, but yeah, he is going to realize it now as he runs out of bullets entirely, I guess. He's only stuck with a Diamante, but that is exactly what Indiana did not need. Perfectly played from Heartbreakers. Like we've been saying, they break the hearts and they break the hard points.
Yeah, Treasy making it look easy, man. He's only 7 and 13, but those were some really big kills as he picks up another as soon as I mention his scoreline. So yeah, he might not have the most kills on the map, but he's had some of the most impactful, especially when it came toward the end of that last hard point. And then look where he is, right here kind of on this choke point, picking up kills again. This dude is doing exactly what he needs to, and he's at McDonald's, man. He's loving it.
Or he's having his way like it's Burger King.
That's true too. I mean, either one is very applicable.
Yeah, you're right.
He's thinking outside the...
What is the Taco Bell one, Trevor?
It's thinking outside the something.
Thinking outside the taco? I don't know, but anyways, Heartbreakers are going to get a little bit head out here, but the positioning for them, it could still... it doesn't get there in time. That was a full team wipe, and that is going to be not a lot of time, but some much needed time for Indiana Syndicate. And on top of that now, Trevor, they do have the bus side heady. Now, Heartbreakers, they're wise to this. They're not going to let them get set up too much on this bus heady, but I don't think they have much of a choice here, as Indiana Syndicate are already getting in an impressive position. Although Dior does win out in the end, it's going to be... That's still a strong hold from Heartbreakers. They're going to be losing the spawns and all that, but still making the most out of it.
Yeah, so this is almost the exact setup that they had last time when they held this for essentially a full 60. And we're not going to see it this time, as Syndicate did kind of get through and are soaking up some points here. But either way, both teams are just all right there, all spawning pretty close to get there as quick as they can. Heartbreakers prevailing right now as they're on the point. but Syndicate is so close. These are 4 people just being thrown at them. So no one's on the point right now as they're all just kind of fighting for it. We're going to see a lot of blue and orange flashing back and forth for the next couple seconds. Just kidding. Syndicate took a hold of it. And this is kind of the reverse of how the setup was last time. You see Syndicate set up on the power positions, holding the spawns, or not holding the spawns, but kind of holding their positions, holding this point. His heartbreak. He's going to try to lay in there for just a second to get the contest. He does manage to do that. So Heartbreaker's up by just a little under 30 points. Right now, as kind of we head to this next hill.
Yeah, Trevor, oh my goodness. Indiana Syndicate has a very telling moment right here. This is going to make or break the game for them. They have to give their due diligence to this objective because Heartbreakers can technically win off of it or get pretty dang close if they don't flip the spawns. Now, they can also try and flip the spawns here, which, yeah, they're trying to do up against Trezzy, and they do manage to get the better of him, so that is actually perfectly played from Indiana Syndicate. Now, we've seen teams come back from being a hard points worth down when the other team is basically within range of winning off of any of their moves. But, man, Indiana Syndicate, all they're doing right now is just contesting for time and holding on for next. And that's all they really got to do, Trevor.
Yeah, this is a very exciting map 4 to potentially send us to a map 5 if Heartbreakers can continue to do what they're doing. And it's looking like they're going to keep doing just that. Now, Syndicate is set up for the next point for the most part. So you do see them rotating from the top of that minimap over toward the right side to the next point. So they are going to have the early setup here, but Heartbreakers are in a very good position to kind of break this setup. At least they were. Now we kind of get to see Syndicate kind of really taking control of the point, taking control of the position. This is big. You need basically all of this time to kind of put Heartbreakers in a pinch, needing to truly do something on this in the next point.
Dude, Viper is going absolutely so huge, and so is Yannick. Oh my god, he gets 7 before he goes down himself. Is now all on Viper. He's got to prevent the enemy team from getting a lot of time off of this one. I mean, they can't win off of it anymore, Trevor, but oh my goodness, Viper and his friends just come up so huge, just mows them down like they're grass on somebody's lawn, telling him to get off of his lawn, and he stakes his claim. And speaking of staking your claim, Trevor, Mug going for next as well, so Heartbreakers, at the very least, are not going to be able to set up properly before an Indiana Syndicate rotation comes out. This is not done yet.
Oh, but by no means is it done, especially because those were some very big plays by Indiana Syndicate. And now they're actually they're going to have the first kind of presence at this next point. You do have a couple players from Heartbreakers that are close, kind of in the back left side of this mini-map. But Syndicate's there. The Heartbreakers have to get on this point because this could be really bad for them if this wipe comes through for Syndicate.
Oh, man, I see that they overextended in their spawns, Trevor. That might be what really did them in here. Not speaking as the game is already over, because as you can see, Indiana Syndicate coming in with yet another huge flank, and Viper just being oh so patient, playing his life, and just getting a solid kill there to prevent a little bit of time from being taken and flip out the positions just a little bit. Oh, Gorilla, he's been having a hard game so far, but could come up huge here, and they are. Trevor, they're coming up so freaking huge right now. They can, not only can Heartbreakers no longer win off this, they can't either, but oh my goodness, they just have to play so huge on this next one. Gorilla, he's in a good spot here. He's going to have to come up huge here. He's on 3 in a row. This is going to be the moment for him to make or break for his team.
Yeah, this 100% makes or breaks it, and that first kill is huge, and the trophy's gone to get those nades up there. So Heartbreakers were kind of set up first, but now look, no one's there. Heartbreakers do have the close left spawns here, so they can get this really good hold. This is tough, Syndicate. You have to get in. You have to get in now because there's only 3 seconds left. This does not look good. Mug maybe working some magic here as he only gets to pick up one of them. Yeah, but so they are on, and there's yeah, okay, so Heartbreakers do get it. That was very intense there. So Heartbreakers potentially, that's again a really close scoreline. So it was like 250 to 243 last time, and then there was the 240. So again, really close scorelines there. As we do see Heartbreakers prevail in this map for Moscow Hardpoint. So we're gonna head right back to Garrison for the S&D next. But dude, let's talk about this Hardpoint just a little bit more.
Oh my God, Trevor. I mean, can you remind me of what the first score line was? I think it was something very, very similar. I think within like
250, 243.
So 2 points off. 2 points off. So technically, Indiana Syndicate has done worse overall on the hard points by 2 total seconds. But yeah, now we're going into the search and destroy, which I mean, Indiana Syndicate, they did a pretty dang good job on themselves, 6-3. Let's not forget, but it is going to be a different map. a map that they seem to show some pretty good prowess on, at least in the beginning. But again, Trevor, nothing can be really said one way or the other, especially with how this game has been going so far. You think you know one thing, but it ends up being the opposite. You know what I'm saying?
Because it was, I mean, the last Search and Destroy, Heartbreakers took a really quick 3-1 lead. Then they lost at 6-3. But now, like you said, completely different map. But Heartbreakers have had the momentum. So I think if they go up 3-1 after winning 2 maps in a row in the fashion that they did, because we can't forget about that last Control offense that Heartbreakers won. They were at the disadvantage for the Control and smoked Syndicate. And they come out and they held that was a really good hard point for both teams. Both teams kind of shined in that hard point, but Heartbreakers prevailed. The series count, as you can see right there below us, is 2-2. So it all comes down to this map 5 Garrison Search and Destroy.
Yeah, and it really does, Trevor. Another thing that we have to take into account here is which team is going to be losing full more by the end of this. I'm sure that, I don't know, based on how they just played the hardpoint, Indiana Syndicate should not be losing full. I think it's just how the first hardpoint went, they should have that completely out of their minds, but that Control, it happened very recently, is still going to be in their minds just a little bit. And the fact that they just compounded that with another loss, and the fact that they might get reverse swept on, Trevor, that's got to be weighing on their minds a little bit. The momentum shift is well and truly in the hands of Heartbreakers. So that's another thing we got to keep into account.
Yeah, we'll definitely keep that in mind. I think we'll actually go to a quick break here before we get into the Search and Destroy, just to allow everything to get set up and time for everything to happen. But other than that, yeah, we'll be right back after this break with the Garrison Search and Destroy. Don't go anywhere.
Ain't no love like real love, but it goes so fast. All tied up like a captive. I'm on to you. Used to pay my life, standing on rainbows, playing it cool. I haven't felt this in ages, and I know no patience. So won't you please stay a bit longer? You're making me stronger, making me stronger. Stay a bit longer. You're making me stronger, making me Ain't no luck finding real love. Gotta know where to look. Time moves fast, and I won't up. Yeah, I want to. Used to pay my life, standing on rainbows, playing it cool. I haven't felt this in ages, and I know no patience. So won't you please stay a bit longer? You're making me stronger, making me stronger. Stay a bit longer. You're making me stronger, making me What can I do to make you stay a bit longer? You're making me stronger, making me stronger. Stay a bit longer. You're making me stronger, making me stronger.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. We're back just in time for this very first map 5 of the preseason for K7. Garrison, Surge, and Destroy. Syndicate won the first two. Heartbreakers are on the second two. Syndicate trying to stop the reverse sweep. Heartbreakers trying to break Syndicate's heart in getting the reverse sweep. Kyle, I said it.
You did.
I said it earlier, man. What if they went down 0-2 on purpose? Just for the brand.
I don't know if it's an on purpose type of thing, but I mean, it would still definitely be very on brand for them to get a reverse sweep like this, Trevor. Now, what a time for us to get a map 5 finally. I think this is the first map 5 of the preseason, and what a time it is for it not only to be the last one, but for it to be the first time that you and I actually get to cast together on the K7 channel, despite the fact that we have casted together many times before.
Yeah, it's definitely good to be on the mic here with you today, Kyle. As we do get to cast this first map 5, man, I'm so excited for the season as we get to see Garrison loading up on this preseason match day. I'm very excited to see the Search and Destroy and kind of how it breaks down, because if we remember, Heartbreakers took the early lead in the last Search and Destroy. So Syndicate are going to be on offense first, Mug being their bomb guy going to have it. So let's kind of, looks like there may be some wrong settings as we do get to see the whole Syndicate team wiped out.
By themselves.
Right there.
Yeah, in the match.
Yeah. So in that match, we'll make sure everything's set the right way that it needs to. But other than that, man, that was a massacre on the side of Indiana Syndicate as they all off themselves.
Yeah, dude, it's like they all drank the Kool-Aid or something like that. But anyways, Trevor, huh?
No, they definitely drank the Kool-Aid.
Oh yeah, my dude. But yeah, I don't really know where I was going after that. But anyways, this is going to be a really fun time, in my personal opinion. One of the maps that, like we were talking about, another throwback to earlier on in the series, is this might be one of the maps where we see people pull out the MP5, especially if they want to go and take control of events, which is an incredibly viable strategy, especially on the defensive side. In fact, I've seen people stack 2 people in vents and it be very, very effective. You know what I'm saying? So would not be surprised to see some MP5s out here to see some vent clearing action.
Yeah, I mean, vents are all in any game that there are vents. Vents are a really good push. It's just kind of how it's made. So that's kind of a cool thing to see. Yeah, hopefully, I would actually really like to see the MP5 come out. So yeah, sorry about that one. I was reading a message, but I really want to see the MP5 come out, because we can see the just to see the vents, or even if they just choose to just kind of rush the bomb. I mean, we saw Heartbreakers go for some really risky fast plays as on the Moscow Surge to Destroy. They ran right up the middle of the map, all 4 of them. All ran together up the middle of the map to that B bomb, which sure you might see teams do it, but they just went for it. They tend to send it. So maybe we can kind of see that on Garrison here, maybe with a different gun comp, just to kind of get the advantage there. So I'm actually really excited to see it.
Now, some people might be saying, oh, well, Moscow's more apt to see a mid push like that, but there are definitely ways you can do it. Like you said, Trevor, there are definitely ways that you can do a mid rush. It requires pretty much your use of your smokes in order to do that. You just run right on through and kill anyone that's on the B site or chilling around, inside of the cellar area. So that's a pretty common strat that I do see, is that they just rush right through there and on into the cellar or into lights. You got to pick one or the other. You got to pick a side pretty much. Cellar for A and lights for B. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm just really cool to see kind of some of these breakoffs, because personally I haven't seen a lot of Garrison Search and Destroy, just kind of with what I've done so far. Yeah, I know, right? I'm actually really excited to see it. I've seen a lot of Moscow and some Miami too. But I am really excited to kind of see just how it breaks down and how these teams play it, because both of these teams have played very good Call of Duty kind of through the night.
Yeah, they really have. But, I mean, Indiana Syndicate, they've just been, in my opinion, just a little bit better in the Search and Destroy. They've had some better overall team play and coverage, and in a mode where lives do matter, you can't be allowing yourself to go and get traded out like that. Now, In a hardpoint, you can definitely allow yourself to get traded out a lot more because there's infinite respawns, right? Less so in Control, which Indiana Syndicate still struggled in, and in fact they lost it. But yeah, I've seen them play a little bit more tightly knit than the Heartbreakers, guys. You know what I mean? They're less likely to take risky things that might involve one of them dying. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's going to really come into play here, where we see the tight knit play and trying to cover your teammates a lot more than you normally would, give Indiana Syndicate a potential advantage.
Yeah, I definitely agree. The Syndicate they have played a more tight knit game, and Heartbreakers have definitely played more risky. So we're waiting on the lobby to get set up after they're fixing the issues that kind of did happen there. So we actually are going to throw it to a quick break just while everything gets set up. And guys, we'll be right back with the Search and Destroy. Don't go anywhere.
For the stars, 'cause we're aiming high.
Reese's, Jamie giving him one, looking for the second.
But no one really watching the main run up. And oh, what a trophy system!
What?
Lateral kill!
I get lost inside my thoughts, and when I start to think, oh, the Tahoe closest starts to end up on the brink. I tried so hard, but all these scars, they cut so deep, I bleed. I fell so fast from heaven, it's like someone clipped my wings. Now I'm falling, and I can't see the ground. Can we stop this gravity? It keeps bringing me down. I can't breathe, and I don't wanna die. Can we stop this gravity? 'Cause I don't wanna say goodbye. I forgive the pain you gave to me so long ago. Sleepless nights I laid awake just begging to let go. I almost got to suicidal thoughts, but you stepped in. An angel sent from heaven showed me how to live again. Now I'm falling, and I can't see the ground. Can we stop this gravity? It keeps bringing me down. I can't breathe, and I don't wanna die. Can we stop this gravity? 'Cause I don't wanna say goodbye.
on the land, I've got your hand, and now we're way down, fade out. No, was it your plan? Can't understand. I love the air you bring, everything. I'm in the sun, our fire is burning. You tell me to hold on tight. I wish that we could stay here forever. I wanna remember. Oh, the sight of you brings the fight in me, makes me wanna move. Fingers down your spine, looking in my eyes, feel your hands on mine. Tonight we're freer than ever. I wanna remember. Oh, we run every endeavor. I wanna remember. Step on the land, I've got your hand, and now we're way down, fade out. No, was it your plan? Can't understand. I love the air you bring, everything. I'm in the sun, a fire is burning. You tell me to hold on tight. I wish that we could stay here forever. I wanna remember. Oh, the sight of you brings the fight in me, makes me wanna move. Fingers down your spine, looking in my eyes, feel your hands on mine. Tonight we're freer than ever. I wanna remember. Oh, we run every endeavor. I wanna
over the edge. Feel like I'm floating through the air. The pain I felt is paid for, all is said and done. Oh, I am restricted, fixed upon the web. I need to kick the habit that my mind is breathing in. Break out, I've got to see. Spent all my life holding all of it closely. I played it innocent, a feel of discontent. I'm finally facing it all, fearless. Burning the bridge that keeps us. I'm here and I'm feeling fearless. Exaggerated, that's what you assume. The story's over now, I must conclude. I am conflicted, watching where I step still, hanging in the balance. Not the life I want to live, I want to take it all. Standing tall, fear outweighed the person you are.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. Sorry about everything. We had our host game crashed or something like that. I believe the lobby is being set up now though, so we should be right back into it. And we'll be right into that map number 5, search and destroy on Garrison.
Yep, search and destroy on Garrison. We have talked a lot about this already. We've talked about the vents, we've talked about top green, we've talked about the tank heady, we've talked about spots that I don't think we've talked about the sniper impact, even though we've talked about it at large when it comes to how effective they are on search and destroy. There are a lot of solid sniper spots on this map as well, Trevor. Like one that you can use from like the back of the map. Sorry, I just noticed something, but yeah, there's something there's a sniper spot in the defender's spawn. You can sit on the back of the tank and you have a perfect line of sight on the entire middle of the map and even the tank heady sometimes if you position yourself in a certain spot. But yeah, I think that if they do end up having a good sniper up in here, then it could be a little bit of a detriment to the attacking team for either side.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. And the thing about the last search destroy that we saw, we did see the sniper pulled out a couple times, but it did not have an impact. So I don't know if that's just I think that's the only sniper that I did see was on the side of Syndicate, and that was from, I lied, it was on Heartbreakers, and it was Octane. He's the only one that I saw with the sniper, and that was on their defense rounds because they played their offense so aggro. So Syndicate could have pulled out a sniper somewhere, and I missed it, but other than that, I didn't see it. But Syndicate didn't play very aggro. So I'm kind of excited to see how that breaks down. Will Octane pull out the sniper in this map 5 because that gun can be so good. The sniper can be, I mean, honestly, when it comes down to it, it's a game changer. You get that first pick, you're so far away, you don't get insta traded. That's a 4v3. So it definitely has the capabilities. They have the impact. And I really hope that we get to see that play a bigger role in this map versus that map too.
Yeah, I think it's going to have an even bigger impact, not just because of the damage it can do, but the way the map is set up, Trevor. Because in the other one, there's not really too much you can do in terms of watching the rotation between the objectives with the sniper rifle. And this one is the complete opposite. You basically, if you have a sniper rifle watching mid, it is such a difficult thing to rotate between objectives. You know what I mean? Say you change your mind, like, oh, B's not working out, let's go for A. Bang, sniper rifle right to the face. That's basically what I'm expecting here, Trevor, is to see a very oppressive sniper rifle play. And well, at least from Indiana Syndicate, Heartbreakers are probably going to try and go for some sort of sub-rush strat based on what I've seen so far. But if Indiana Syndicate can really bring it with that sniper rifle, be oppressive in the middle, and cut off those rotations, I think they have a solid chance.
I mean, I definitely agree. I want to see how aggressive Heartbreakers are on this search and destroy because it worked out for them, kind of, in that first search and destroy because they were able to get an early lead that they've lost. So here, what we will have Syndicate on the attacking side, as we saw in the first iteration of this. No team shots. We are all good here. Everyone is loaded in properly. Let's see what happens. So it looks like that they're just kind of pushed up mid here. Nothing really telling as to where they're going to go yet. As I say that, we start to see a move toward A, but we do have players set up for Heartbreakers in very good positions.
This is a very, very vulnerable position potentially for Indiana Syndicate. They're all basically stuck on the side here. If someone does come up from vents like 04, he can totally get a perfect line of sight on this guy. And I think that Viper City is like, maybe we're not in the best positions here, especially since we got to plant the bomb eventually. So in he goes, thinking about going for vents, and he is indeed full sending into vents, and that is why you don't really see too many people full sending into vents early on. Gets wiped out, but the trade does come out. Vents now totally clear and moving things around a little bit here, Trevor. We could be seeing things happen now, especially with another pick, breaking things wide open.
Yeah, and with the pick comes a trade, and then another pick from the side of Heartbreaker. So that's going to be a 2v1. It's all up to Gorilla. He did have a slow start, the last search and destroy, and him picking it up is kind of what brought them back. Unable to hit the shots there as the player is going to manage to get away, run right to his teammate potentially for a bait and switch. No, he does get the pick. That is a huge pick here. With only about 6 seconds left, we'll get to see how this plays out. Gorilla has to get the bomb down, so that's not going to be able to happen. Other than that, Heartbreakers did a good job there. Once they realized they had the life advantage, they played it. They went for the kind of the bait and switch almost as he was running back to his teammate, but the pick was there. That was a huge pick from Gorilla. So he started to get it going there at the end of that round. So that could be good things for the Syndicate as we head into their first defense.
Yeah, what was even bigger there was that play from Octane. He basically set the stage to where, in fact, I would say he is the player of that last round. He cinched it for his team. Not only did he kill half the team, but when he was in his 1v1, he let the time run out on Gorilla. Sometimes you win gunfights by not even taking them.
Yeah, 100%. That's exactly what he did. Huge to know that you don't have to chow that. As we do see a huge top green push from the side of Heartbreakers and able to get we see this just pure aggression that we saw the last time, but 2 players have fallen for each team. Dior, Treasy, Viper City, Mug. These are the only 4 players left on the map. Bombs down somewhere toward top green and A. Viper should know this as the picks were taken. Definitely does see the player, so that's going to call for the rotation from his teammate to make sure that they do get set up here. Heartbreakers are just kind of stranded there. They can't quite get to the bomb, and here we can see a potential flank from Mug.
Yeah, I mean, he does have Dior to deal with, but the time constraints really coming into play here, Trevor. They're like, you know what, we got to do this eventually, so what? There's no time better than the present. And Syndicate has actually gone in to take their spawn, which is a little bit weird. They've actually flipped spawns, and I don't know if that's going to really do too much good for Indiana Syndicate, because Heartbreakers, they can only really come from the place that they're in right now for Heartbreakers. They can only come from their immediate right or from their spawn, and they've got both angles pretty much covered.
Yeah, and I'm not sure exactly. Okay, so the pick is there. That's good. Good plays by Syndicate. So I was actually very iffy on their play there to kind of call it back and then to rotate all the way around. Because if you remember, Viper City, he did have a really good power position there in the back, kind of blocking off the bomb from the other team. So interesting play call to kind of rotate through mid-map and hit him from the back, but they were able to, and it worked out very well as they do pick up that round.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like maybe TZ just went back a little bit too far there, you know what I'm saying? Maybe he should have stayed on that box eddy on top of the grates there, but that would have given him a better line of sight onto his enemy's run-up, and his teammate would have had his back covered at the same time. So, I don't know, man. I feel like Heartbreakers could have positioned themselves a little bit better to deal with that Indiana Syndicate rotation, but there's only so much you can do when you don't know where the enemy is, so I can't really totally, criticize them for that. Now, they are doing the same old song and dance here, Trevor, of just running right on in and getting an early frag out and kill, and Syndicate not really able to respond with one of their own yet. It's just costing them more and more lives as the game goes on.
Yeah, that was a big play there by Yannick as he did hop from that little mid thing. I'm not sure exactly what the call it is there. I've been able to get up, but it's all to Gorilla again, this time in a 1v3. This is not good because he has players all around him. Like he's the band Flyleaf for any of you other emo people out there.
Oh, I think I know that one.
Yeah, it's not all the way emo, but either way, that is a good round there for Heartbreakers as they were able to pick it up. Again, Gorilla left in that kind of clutch situation and unable to do it. Granted, this previous one was a lot harder than the first, but Heartbreakers showing that they have the ice, kind of, when it comes to that, because they're only up 2-1. This is exactly what we saw last time, so hopefully, if you're a Heartbreakers fan, they're able to close it out a little bit better and stop the momentum shift from Syndicate. But Syndicate, they very well can do this. Gorilla's kind of been the X factor when it comes to these. When he starts slow, they're slow, and then he gets that first pick, so that is huge.
Oh, look at this guy. I think 04 is trying to go through the vents here. He's about to run right on into somebody, and he does! That is bomb down in vents. That is exactly what you don't want if you're Heartbreakers when you're Trezzy and you have to do a 1v4. Bomb down in vents, and Yannick is sitting right on it. Trezzy, he's on the tank heading. And he's trying to find a peek out here, but there's no way on God's green earth that Indiana Syndicate are going to push up and give him a kill because of this. They're 4-man up. The man has 40 seconds left, and the bomb is down in the vent. He's got to go for that. And, ooh, yeah, he tried to go for one there, Trevor, but not quite going in his favor. It wouldn't have anyway. He would have had probably 3 people flying at him as soon as they heard the call one shot. You know what I mean?
I mean, 100%. When it's a 1v4, it's very rare that you're able to, especially when they're set up like that, it's very, very hard to get those 1v4s. especially on a map like Garrison as well. I don't see a lot of 1v4s being able to be taken on this map, just kind of with how it plays and how many kind of positions there are for you to get in and to kind of post up. So we have it tied 2-2. In this Search and Destroy. No one really has the advantage yet. Both teams have played very well. We're not seeing the aggression out of Syndicate that we're seeing out of Heartbreakers, but that aggression kind of did not work. Ooh, that could be.
Dude,
I don't know.
that is incredible. They totally just did that smoking mid-play, and they got Light Sky because of it. One of them did manage to get around the back, and that's Dior. They're going to quickly realize this, and Dior, he doesn't have really any support coming out for him right now, as what's his name, NSYNC here is trying to come from vents. Anticipated by Dior, though. Incredible. And just like that, this match has been completely flipped on its head, Trevor. Indiana Syndicate, now with one guy remaining, bomb not even in his hand, but he could have totally gotten it. But, I mean, Heartbreakers with the manpower advantage and the time advantage, a lot of advantages. Viper City up against it.
Yeah, 1v2, and they know where the bomb is, so they know exactly where he has to go, so they're just going to post up here. And just make sure that he doesn't get the bomb, because there's no chance that he runs in here. Ooh, he didn't run in, so that's big. That is big that he's able to get that pick. He is tagged up so much. This is a 1v1. This is huge because either player could win this gunfight.
You gotta be kidding me, Trevor. You gotta be kidding me.
Oh my god. Yikes. They had it won, dude. They had it, the plays. They made the plays, and they let it slip. Who went big? Was that Viper there?
It was Viper, main
with
man
the
Viper.
eyes, dude. Oh my goodness. He just they knew where the bomb was, and Viper only had one way that he could really go. They were both watching it. Steps up, Ego Chouse gets the kill, backs up, wins the second gunfight. It does not get much better than that. Viper really putting in the work for his team right now. He's at that 5-2 stat line on a 3 streak, thanks to that last round. So this is huge. As Indiana Syndicate go up 3-2.
Man, dude, that is one that Heartbreakers should have had through and through. Dior, who would have had the ace, he was sitting there with his buddy, and all they had to do was just not get pieced one at a time. But Viper's putting his angles very, very well. He angled it to where it was 2 1v1s instead of a 1v2. Now into the current round, Trevor, they do seem to be going a little bit more passive here. Heartbreakers trying to goad Indiana Syndicate into pushing up and attacking them. But I don't think that Indiana Syndicate is going to be quite playing like that, you know? Or maybe I'm wrong. NSYNC, look at that angle.
Yeah, that is a big angle there as he's able to get the kill, but is traded out. So we do have a 3v2 here, but Viper's left alive, and this is the guy that you want if you're the Indiana Syndicate. So the bomb still has to go down for Heartbreakers. They have plenty of time to do it. Still about 30 seconds left on the clock. 04 is the one with the bomb in his hands. Viper in a really big position here as his teammate does get a kill. He chows through the window, unable to get it. That is a big play by Dior there as he's able to pick up that kill. Absolutely turns on Viper. Viper had every chance to win that gunfight, just able to do so. Gorilla he brings it to a 1v1 Gorilla versus Octane. So we do have this 1v1. Bomb is down. Who's going to win it? Gorilla does not have the ice like Viper does. Unfortunately for Indiana Syndicate, Heartbreakers brings it back 3-3. We're headed to round number 7. Gorilla, man, he tried to put in the work here. That was a big pick here, but unfortunately Viper couldn't hop through the window, or he did hop through. He just was unable to get the kill. Great plays from both sides there, as that's a clutch 1v1, but good plays from good plays all around, honestly, as we head into this round 7 with Syndicate, that they have the bomb in their hand, trying to work this offense.
Sorry for my outburst there, Trevor, but holy crap, was that Octane that killed him there? I'm pretty sure he has a sniper. Did he just like turn around and like quick scope him or something in that close range area there? Or because like he killed him in one shot.
I think he had a gun, not a sniper.
It looked like he killed him in one shot. That's why they freak out.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure. But either way, he had the eyes. He was able to get it. And looking for another pick here early in this round. On a 3 streak himself right now, but two of his teammates are down. It is a 2v3 right now for the side of Syndicate.
Yeah, I mean, Syndicate, they're trying to play this as well as they can. He does get one as much as he really could have done there. And oh, that is huge. Immensely huge from 04, as I'm sure he knows this, but he's got the bomb down. All he's got to do is just sit here on the tank heady, but oh, he's going to be getting angled out by Gorilla. Like we've been talking about this guy, Trevor, he doesn't always get the most kills, but he does have some pretty dang good kills.
Yeah, Gorilla has definitely kind of been that X factor for his team, as we see Viper just piecing up people right here, dude. That's a 2-piece. See, that dude is absolutely just ripping through everyone that he sees. But Gorilla able to win that 1v1. He's been in that situation multiple times and hasn't always been successful, but wins it when it counts. They're up 4-3. Let's see if round 7 has anything to do with Cold War. Maybe it does. And then if so, Syndicate should win based on kind of the round 7 superstition. Other than that, I mean, Gorilla big plays in that last round, kind of pushing up, maybe looking to get something early here.
Now, you know what, Trevor? I think it did actually do them some good in the last one, if you remember. So Indiana Syndicate does seem to have the round 7 curse going into their hands, like you did so wittily point out. But Heartbreakers are trying to break the curse by getting a swift plant off here and without taking a single death in the process.
Yeah, and picking up one along the way as well. Viper going down, that is a big guy that you want to make sure he is dead, because he picks up, he's a walking 2-piece right now. So it is a 4v3, 3v3. The defuse is getting there. That's the defuse.
Oh my god, he ninja'd it! He totally ninja'd it. We missed it. I'm so upset, but that's all right, because Indiana Syndicate, they are going to get it nonetheless. I think it might actually show it here. Nah, it's going to show us NSYNC, but he enabled his teammate to get the ninja, Trevor, and that is what mattered.
He just hopped it. He said, ah, screw it. Hop the bomb. Got the defuse. What the heck? You don't see that a lot. That is nice. Indiana Syndicate go up 5-3. Heartbreakers have to get a kill to stay alive like they're the Bee Gees.
Very funny. But, yeah, Trevor, Heartbreakers, they might be going into cardiac arrest after this one, because that's another way of saying having a heart attack, which is what they're giving me right now. It's gonna be smoking out the top little lane here. Oh, they're not gonna anticipate that he runs through the smoke. That's incredible from Dior that he managed to get away with that, but it's gonna give him some good little bit of room to run into, but Viper is gonna rip him apart. 0-4 chasing the kill, and just like that, 2v1, but Viper with the sniper could very well get a little bit of a quick hit on these guys.
Yeah, 100%. And this is the guy that you want to be in this situation, especially against the two that you are. I mean, 0-4 has put in a lot of work, but Treasy there, they do pick it up. So they do pick up the kill there, putting it to a 5-4. Heartbreakers aren't going to go down that easy, but this play right here is huge. Okay, so Dior throws the smoke and then just runs through it to pick up a 2-piece. That Heartbreakers are, like, they have shown so much aggression, and that is the perfect display of it right there. Throws the smoke on the top bridge, runs through it, and just picks 2 people apart.
Man, I'm a little bit amazed at that one, Trevor. I'm not just that it worked, but that the fact that, I don't know, man, that was incredibly big brain from Dior to know that that would work on his opponents. Also very risky. I'm sure he actually probably didn't know that it would work on his opponents, but he had to try. No time like when you're on the cusp of losing to try something wonky and weird to try and throw your enemy off, and that is exactly what they're doing. Getting another pick, another good start here, Trevor, but can they hold it off? I mean, this is where they've been struggling so far, is when they're 4-2 up, which is when they shouldn't be struggling, but, you know, they should enable themselves to get a round 11 out of this.
Yeah, and Dior picked up 2 again. This dude's fine. He was taken down there with that last kill, so it is a 3-2v2. As I try to say the numbers, it's still all up to Octfade and Treasy. No chance. All up to Treasy. Okay, he is able to get it. Brings it to 1v1 against Viper. Viper's had the ice, and there it is. Viper with the ice. Indiana Syndicate 6-4, 3-2. That is your series. Indiana Syndicate that they prevail, stop the reverse sweep. Viper with the ice. That man was the playmaker for Indiana Syndicate. So yeah, that was an absolutely good series. We saw Indiana Syndicate take the first hardpoint and search and destroy, but then Heartbreakers answered back with the control and second hardpoint. But Syndicate showing the ice in the search and destroy, able to kind of take control there. Man, Viper, he definitely was the player of the game for me, at least in that search and destroy, with everything that he was doing.
Yeah, I mean, Gorilla, he had some great moments, especially in that 1v1 there he had at the end. I mean, both him and Viper, those were the last 2 guys alive, and I think they both got 2 apiece, unless I'm wrong. It was either that or Viper got 3 and he got 1. But regardless, both guys having a solid impact. We got to give an honorable mention to Dior, because with all the stuff that he did, he really should have at least been given the round 11 based on what he had done for his team. And hats off to him. I thoroughly won't be forgetting that anytime soon, because I have never seen a guy do so much but still not get to round 11 of a Search and Destroy. So hats off to Dior, but also hats off to Gorilla and Viper, both of which who have been basically put their team over the top in that last round.
Yeah, the Heartbreakers, I mean, they definitely like set up the heartbreak, but Syndicate just had the ice there, man, able to kind of take control of that Search and Destroy, like we saw. We saw the back and forth this time between in the first couple of rounds, but then Syndicate just flipped the switch, man, and they absolutely went off and were able to just kind of secure that, winning this preseason match 3-2. The Syndicate prevail over the Heartbreakers. Kyle, is there anything that you have left to say?
Not much about the game. Everything that's already been said has already really been said, and the game really speaks for itself. Indiana Syndicate, although it doesn't really mean anything for the real season other than morale and glory, they still got the morale and the glory going into the season, knowing that they can defeat the team that did once defeat them in a different patch. Now, we're going to be going on to the part of the show where we say thank you to each and every single one of you, not just the people who are watching us, but the people who put this on, like Heroism, like Trevor, like everybody else, Hyper, like Sparky, Victory, everybody who is involved in this, the broadcasting talent as well. I am one of them, and so is Trevor. Go and give some love to every single person on your screen right now. Take a screenshot. It'll last longer. But yeah, also to all of our sponsors, of which there are many, and we love each and every one of them equally. So we just want to give some tender love and care to all of those guys as well. GitGudHosts, Rogue Energy, and anyone else that you want to give some special thanks to right now, Trevor.
Yeah, Evo 9X, FORUMA Visuals, DropShotStats, in Gamers Resort, all of these, they are the ones that make this possible. You can see Rogue Energy in the top right of these webcams. They're the reason that we're able to come to you and bring Call of Duty matches for the K7 League. But other than that, I think that's all that we have for you tonight. Thank you to our sponsors. Thank you to the man behind the curtain and Hero, making sure this all went smoothly for us tonight. And to just thank you to all of you for watching. Remember, K7 League starts January 14th, 2021. Mark the calendars. We will be there. Other than that, thank you guys.
Reach for the stars, 'cause we're aiming high.
Reese's, Jamie giving him one, looking for the second.
But no one really watching the main run-up. And oh, what a trophy system!
What?
Lateral kill!
What does perfect even mean?